You informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Guyana, join me on the Lall Show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:20 p.m. and a rebroadcast at 11 a.m. The Lall Show only on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM.
Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. It is Wednesday, the 29th day of June, and it is time for the Lall Show, where we tell it as it is. When we come here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to keep you informed. All right, it is time for us to hand things over to the man of the moment, and immediately after his presentation, we will take your phone calls and, of course, read your messages. With that said, sir, namaste and happy Wednesday to you.
Thank you, Joshua.
You're welcome.
Ms. Harris. Namaste, Josh.
Yes, sir.
And Raj. Namaste. Did I promise Monday anything to talk about on Wednesday?
Just a continuation.
Oh, the continuation, yes. I did promise to continue the topic on the provisions in the contract that handcuff, chain, and harness every Guyanese like a donkey for life with an ExxonMobil contract. Guys, I wanted to go in depth about the same lack of the ring fencing provision that also chain. That one is a big fat chain around the waist to a concrete post, the ring fencing provision, Ms. Harris. But every time you promise to get on a topic, you know, or to say something, events happen to pop up that require an immediate response.
Of course.
And sometimes you just can't leave these things down. But of course, the other provisions can left back. So tonight I will not talk about oil. No ExxonMobil, only protests, Ms. Harris. And not oil protests, like I said. The protest that went on yesterday, that's my topic for tonight. So can we get going now, Josh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, namaste to all these wonderful listeners across Guyana and around the world. Donald Trump is to be blamed for where the world is today. Before I get to the protest yesterday, let me say this, Ms. Harris. Starvation is creeping in everywhere, in every country on earth at present. The biggest and most powerful country on earth is the United States. Today, in many parts of it, you can't walk freely without getting robbed.
Yep, New York.
I watched the news a few days ago. People walking in supermarkets. Man, you believe that they own the supermarkets. Picking up what they want, pushing the security aside, and just walk out. That's what is happening right now in the United States. When the supermarket owners or the managers call the police, they ask if anybody dead. That's the only way they're showing up to a crime scene in the United States now. You know 60 Minutes?
Yeah.
60 Minutes did an investigation with their cameras rolling, Miss Harris, and were able to capture looting of a supermarket. And when they called the police, no one turned up. Not a single soul turned up. And that is America. That is the America. That is what America has turned to today. The king, the police of the world. Yeah. In New York, they are snatching your shoes off your feet if it's a brand name. If you're walking with an expensive shoulder bag or wearing jewelries, man, you better have the police by your side. That is what America has become as I speak now, this moment. People in the billions going to bed hungry in many, many parts of the world, all because of selfish and greedy leaders. The maker has thrown COVID, whether it's 19, 20, or 21, but I know they call it COVID, at us to wake up the world, especially the leaders. But they can't see, can't envision or get it. More and more greed is getting to their heads. They have no love for mankind. All they're concerned with is how much they can thief for them friends and their family. They even use the COVID virus, yeah man, to thief. Uh-huh. Yes, the thief the COVID, they use that to thief in corruption. The price they pay for those medication, some of the African leaders are already in jail for that. The world has been facing a food crisis due to that COVID. It gets worse now due to the unjustified and evil war Russia has unleashed on its neighbor Ukraine. You know, Ukraine used to be supplying this entire world with over 40% of the wheat. Wheat, uncle, that gives you the bread, pastries, and rotis, and so many other things you do with the wheat. Ukraine cannot send out wheat for the world today, all because Russia is blocking the ships from leaving the ports. So all the wheat is left in the ground to rotten. You guys see where bread price gone? Where it's double?
I don't eat bread.
Yes, I'm told it's double. Pastries double up. Well, of course, flour gone double, so everything will be double. Yeah. Russia, on the other hand, is one of the major oil and gas suppliers of the world. And they were curtailed by the big powers with their supply, just so they don't get money to continue the war with Ukraine. You know, they stopped buy oil and gas from Russia, just to say, hey, we're not going to do business with you, so you wouldn't have money to continue the war with Ukraine. In the meantime, the world is facing the heat on every side one can think of. Gasoline price gone up, diesel gone up, cooking gas gone up, transportation all gone up too. It is rough. The poor who had it hard, now they are finding it desperately harder. Every day you look at the news, there's turmoil, distress and hunger everywhere, all because of corrupt and incompetent, wicked and dirty leaders. The world would have never been where it is today, you know, Miss Harris. Never. Had the police chief acted properly. And I'm not talking about Hickins. He's a junior constable. I am talking about Donald Trump, who was the police chief of the world. He okayed, encouraged, and sanctioned that war going on right now with no end in sight. So make your bed to live with the consequences for a very, very long time. Or I should say for quite a while into the future. More starvation is ahead because of that war. Miss Harris, that war should have never happened had Donald Trump acted and did the right thing. But he played a lover role, a lover-by with Putin, and that have the world where it is today. Let me tell you, let me give you guys a quick roundup how Trump, Donald Trump, evil and wicked love affair with Putin, encouraged him to start bombing Ukraine with a population of 46 million people. The US Congress realized that Putin wanted to attack Ukraine way in advance and approved $355 million American dollars to help boost up the Ukrainian army. But that devil named Trump held up that money for over a year, all because he wanted the president of Ukraine to do a wicked act, investigate Joe Biden's son. It was only when a colonel working directly with Donald Trump exposed the story and Congress threatened to impeach him again, he was forced to release the money to Ukraine. It was too late, Ms. Harris. When he released the money, it was too late. The message was already sent to Putin by Trump. Go in and do what you want with them. Now the world is seeing. Now all of us are reaping what Donald Trump could have avoided. He ended up knocking off the colonel for exposing his corrupt action. Trump even knocked off the man's brother, who was a lieutenant colonel, working in the same White House too. And the man had nothing, completely nothing to do with his brother. That's how evil these leaders are. Yes. Today, where is he? He has gone. Joe Biden replaced him, but we are all left to suffer the consequences. That is affecting every citizen on earth today. Evil leaders, uncle, selfish leaders, incompetent and corrupt leaders leave us all in danger. Had he sent that money to the people of Ukraine, that would have been a very strong message to Putin, and that war would have never happened. Now millions of Ukrainians scattering all over the world, running helter-skelter, all because of one man, Donald J. Trump's decision. Because of his decision, Putin is now doing whatever he wants with Ukraine, while the entire universe suffers. Trump lost the election, didn't want to give up. He tried to get his vice president to change the election results illegally in his favor. And when the man refused, he get his mob to storm their parliament, killing a few policemen during the mayhem. Yes, during the riot then. The first thing Joe Biden did, uncle, Ms. Harris, the first thing Joe Biden did when he took office, he set up a commission of inquiry, a COI, into what took place, to hold all who were responsible for storming the Capitol. Yes, he hold that COI to hold everybody accountable for their actions. Some of them are already serving big jail time for their actions. Hundreds more to go, including Donald J. Trump. As of yesterday, the world is learning that Donald Trump was the ringleader of what took place on January 6th. He even told the security to remove the metal detectors so that the protesters can storm the parliament with their guns, with their weapons. You know, in my view, jail time awaits him, and many more of them. That's what a COI means or does, is to hold people accountable for their actions, Miss Harris. Is to send a message, a very strong message, that you should never think you can storm the parliament and try to overthrow a democratically elected government. This is the biggest story in America today, and the whole day it's on all the news channels around the world. You just got to tune into it, man. It's there. I share that story with you guys, Uncle, so that you can get an idea when you want to put an end to something horrible. Once and for all, you have to go the length. You have to do whatever it takes to ensure that this never happens again. COI, Commission of Inquiry, is something very important in all parts of this world. A COI brings out the truth and hold people accountable. Nobody must think that they can hide in their offices or behind a computer and create mischief, create chaos and mayhem, and think they can walk free. No, no. A COI brings out everything and send people to prison. A strong message that these things don't continue. In Guyana, chaos, destruction of properties, robberies, arson, race hate, and even murders has been going on for decades, and no one is being held accountable. Because most of these atrocities are being orchestrated and directed by selfish and greedy political leaders who benefits, yes, who benefits from dividing our people. Yes, man. They are the only ones that benefits when we fight among ourselves. What went on yesterday should have never happened. Had the leaders initiated a COI on what took place in the past on the east coast of Demerara, what happened yesterday, Miss Harris, would have never taken place. Had they done one, people would have been held accountable. People would have been sitting in jail by now. But they haven't done any. Look, the whole one right now. They're setting up one right now for the election, what went on in the 2020 election. Okay? They're setting up one for that. You know why they're setting up one for that? For themselves. So that, for themselves. So that no skullduggery can go along there anymore. You understand? It's basically to protect themselves in power. But to set up a COI to investigate and to stop this continuous madness in this country that happens every time a protest erupts on the East Coast does not benefit them. It suits them because you drive fear in one set and one set get emboldening. And that's how they got a tit for tat. Right? Among Africans and Indians. You know, Miss Harris, when I heard about a protest yesterday morning, I was like, yes, yes, yes. I was happy. I was happy.
Change quick.
Man, I said we are getting back. We are getting backing for the protest I started to bring about a change to that one-sided oil contract. That's how I felt. I swear to God, that's how I felt.
Me too when it started. I
You know? I jump off my bed and start calling a few people and tell them, yes, yes, protest on the East Coast. Only to find out that it was over the killing, a police killing. You hear that? It turned my whole spirit away. I thought the people start up a protest for the oil contract, not knowing it's a killing.
No, sir. No such thing.
Uncle and auntie, the family of the man that was killed, here the police release him and believed they would never get justice. So they came onto the streets and began walking to Georgetown, to Evelary to be exact. And the villagers along the way join in. Lo and behold, a set of haters, criminals, thieves, and hooligans join in too and take advantage of the protests to attack, beat, rob, and terrorize innocent people of a different race. People who did nothing wrong and was only trying to make an honest living for themselves and their family, who were beaten and robbed. Those people in Monrepo and Annandale didn't kill that man, had nothing to do with it. And I want to make it clear that those who committed those criminal acts against those innocent people must be held accountable. This lawlessness, this criminal behavior has been going on for too long and for too often in this country without people being held accountable or punished, man. We can't be protesting for justice and at the same time have people joining in to create more injustice towards our brothers and sisters. No, man, no. No. That must never happen. It must come to an end. It must be stopped in its track once and for all. This continuous madness and criminal activities can only come to a stop, uncle and auntie, if President Ali and the opposition leader call for COI and punish those people for their actions. I am in full support of that. Joe Biden, like I said, initiated a COI which resulted in many of Trump criminals sitting in jail for their actions on January 6th. Why we can't do the same? Ms. Harris? The Joe Biden administration went as far as to call on everyone, every citizen, including the media, with video footage. Call on them to bring it so that the people can get justice. When I look at the video footages of people walking in the streets yesterday, running and riding away with loot they stole in their hands, on their heads, on their bicycles and motorcycles, it makes me very sad and very angry. How can the leaders of this country stay quiet and don't address this? The most important aspect of yesterday's madness. Ms. Harris? President Ali said, justice will prevail for the victim's family. He also said all those people who suffered losses and damages will be compensated. That is admirable. But auntie, how do you correct? How do you fix the trauma the horror, the feeling of helpless. Yes, the helplessness of what those people went through, man. Can money repair horror? And the trauma they went through? Mr. Gregory?
No, I don't think so.
No, Mr. President.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Norton.
No.
No amount of money can correct what those people went through and have to live with. Only justice. The same justice Bacchus' mother and family wants to ease their pain, those people want the same thing, justice. Justice. And that can only come about, Ms. Harris, with a holistic COI, a commission of inquiry, to send those people to jail for their crimes. In the past, people have been beaten. You guys know this, man. People were raped. People were kidnapped. People have been killed in this country. When racism raises its ugly head. And we need to address it. And address it frontally. And get to the root cause once and for all. We need to do that, Mr. Ali and Mr. Norton. If not, it will continue and get worse.
Yes.
If people are not brought to justice for their actions, the country and its people will continue to suffer. President Ali said, we will call on Parliament to denounce and condemn what happened yesterday. That is not going to solve the problem, Mr. Ali. That is not going to stop the reoccurrence, Mr. Ali. That will do nothing. Those people want justice. He also said the police will take action on those who committed violence. That has been an old song, haggard out song. That's like a dead donkey. All these politicians keep singing and nobody gets charged. No one is held accountable and life goes on until another injustice, yes, kicks in. Let's wait and see who will be charged and how many of them will go before the court. They have photos. We have photos. We have videos. They have videos all online. And people can identify all the criminals. Let's wait and see what will become of it. I will not let it down. Because these things when they hurt me, when things hurt me, when injustice step in, I don't like to let loose. It's like ExxonMobil contract and the oil, we gold, we diamond, and we bauxite. I will never stop talking about it until we get them fixed, until we can correct them. I can't live with injustice. And that's just Glenn Lall. Who can live with it? That's your problem. I can't live with it. And as long as God give me the strength and allow me to breathe with this voice, it will be loud. Man, if we as Guyanese really and truly want to put an end to this continuous trauma in which we brothers and sisters have to be walking and living in fear of them own Guyanese, then we got to face this reality with a COI that will bring out all the evil that lies within, so that we can confront and correct it as one people. Come on, guys. You can't be beating people and robbing people like that. You can't be taking advantage of people just because of their race. Not even animals live like that. You can't do that and expect people to support and love you in your time of need. No, man. It don't work like this. Life is not like that. Life is about living with love, with respect. If your politicians disrespect you, disrespect them. If the police disrespect you, disrespect them. Those are the people we have to disrespect. Not innocent people, man. No, don't do that. And let me be very clear. I am not against protests. Protest is something I love. I have been doing it every day at the shore base on the east bank of Demerara, in front ExxonMobil headquarters, where they're running in everything to the ships. Protest is the most important thing to get justice and bring about changes everywhere in this world. That's why I love it. But beating people, robbing innocent people, and setting fire on people's vehicle and their property is not protest. That is downright criminal. Especially when you're doing it to your own people, man. That did you no wrong. People who just going about their daily work.
Suffering just like them too.
And correct, Gregory. Suffering just like them. I don't think that no right-thinking Guyanese is happy about what went on yesterday during that mayhem. But I know for sure one set of people is smiling. Smiling all the way to the bank. You morons. Because while we focusing our energies on fighting each other, then no attention is given to them and what they're doing. This is how backward, this is how stupid and dotish we are as brown, black, and purple people in this country. We can't see beyond. We can't see the big picture of what's playing out in this land, in this country. The foreigners robbing you. Billions of US dollars. They're beating you. They're raping us all.
Have the knees on our necks.
Exactly. Have their knees on our necks in which we can hardly breathe. Man. And our brothers and sisters hustling for a rob. We own brothers and sisters. Toilet paper. Can you believe this thing? The billions these foreigners thieving from us. And we have our people, our own people, hustling to rob. We own people. We own brothers and sisters. Guyanese toilet paper. You guys should take the protests on the road to the gates of the oil companies where they operate. Take it there and let them stop robbing you of your rightful share. Yes, what belongs to you, man? Those poor people things does not belong to you. But the oil out there belongs to you, guys. It belongs to you and every one of us. But y'all ain't fighting for that. Y'all prefer to beat and rob at your own body and sissy hustling to put food on them table. This is the exact thing that has happened throughout Asia and continuing to happen throughout the African continent. Shooting, fighting, killing each other over pennies. Yes, and injustice. While the foreigners fetching out all the wealth. Is the exact thing, Gregory. The exact thing playing out here. Like we all have something in common. Asia, Africa, and Guyana. We can't see beyond the hatred we have for each other. We prefer to beat up we own, rob we own for a few pennies. But smiling, yes, knocking glass with the real criminals, fetching out your present and your future. Yes, that's what you're doing. You see how sickening this thing can be? One day before that protest, Suriname President, Mr. Santoki. You hear me, Miss Harris? One day, the protest was yesterday, Tuesday, Monday, President Santoki held an oil conference. Man, the man was very bold and clear to the audience, in which President Ali was right there sitting next to him. Tomorrow we are carrying that story. I want all of you to read it. You would get the fullness of it. For tonight, I'm just going to give you the headline. And you're going to figure out the rest inside when you read it. Hear what President Santoki said there, man, at the oil conference to the entire gathering where President Ali was sitting down next to the man. President Santoki says, uncle and auntie, listen the words clearly. The oil does not belong to any government or any political party. It belongs to the people and they must enjoy the benefits. Let me repeat that, man. President Santoki tell President Ali in his face, sitting right next to him, the oil does not belong to any government or any political party. It belongs to the people and they must enjoy it. Man, if I been there as the president of this country, you hear me? With what them chap is going on with, what they're putting up with, what they're signing on to, and not changing it, I would have gotten up and walk out that conference. This is what, Miss Harris, I have been telling the Guyanese people on this program every single night. Every ounce of gold, diamond, bauxite, timber, every drop of oil belongs to Awidis. Me and you. Not Ali Jagdim, not no Ramjatan, not the PPP, the PNC, or the KFC. Uncle and auntie, it belongs to we, me and you, and your children, and my children. Santoki even said that the oil is not only for this generation, but also for future generation. We don't collect how much? The little pittance, the 700 million US, 607 million US that they put in the bank. These morons we have run and pass law. Yes. On the 29th of December, I could never forget. I came out specially on Christmas Day to do the program. I went out there on the 29th and protest in front of the parliament. Right? Because I knew they were passing laws to take every cent of the oil money to just thief it out. Right? Yes, I did that on Christmas Day because I knew where they're going. The law passed to hold the minister accountable if he do not report accurately how much money come in and how much money go out. But pass no law to say if the minister thief him, he must go to jail. That's how evil they are. That's how wicked your leaders are. Them days the people are staying on your finger for. We have a contract that doesn't benefit none of us with our wealth. They're not changing it. Although they promised to change it. Yes. And them this is the people are staying on your finger for. I used to tell her that. If you didn't believe me then, uncle, you're hearing the exact words from the Suriname president. Sometimes when I read the thing, I want to know if the Suriname president copy me words.
Of course he did. He's listening, he's learning.
That is the truth, uncle. That is the truth. Nobody got to go to school to understand that the resources in every country belongs to every citizen, man.
Everyone of us.
Huh? If the leaders can't ensure a good deal, then what we got to do, buddy? We have to fight for it. We got to fight for our share, our own selves. This is what we should have a country-wide protest about. A country-wide protest should have been about this. And block up all the roads. I am in favor of that. Shut down the country. Not just East Coast alone. Not the West Coast alone. But also in all the East Bank too. Where we are presently protesting. That is where I want you people to join me. That is where we should take our bed. Yes. Our stove. And live there until we get what they're robbing us. All I'm asking for is my rightful share of my own thing, brothers and sisters. And you should join me for yours too. And if you don't want to join me, you can join another protest going on. Article 13 is meeting every Monday and Friday outside the Natural Resources Ministry in the mornings, fighting for a renegotiation of the contract. Please join them. And if I want to behave bad, go there. That is the right place for you to behave bad. You want justice? That is the right place. You want black roads? That is the perfect spot to get your rightful share. So you don't have to beat and rob your own brothers and sisters them for fruits, vegetables, clothes and toilet paper, man. You don't have to do that. You don't have to broke up and burn up your own brothers and sisters' vehicles. If we get the rightful share, you didn't have to ride bicycles. You would have already had a vehicle. A Range Rover too. Or a Lexus. That's what all the oil people driving in your own country with your own money, and you fighting and beating and robbing your own brothers of toilet paper.
Exactly.
Man, this thing is sickening, man.
Onion and garlic.
These foreigners throwing away prawns and lobster, and you beating up your brother and emptying his fridge on the roadside for a couple fine banger inside. Eh? The people hustling a living with a fish, and that is why you do that, man. Huh? Y'all preventing your own brothers and sisters who hustling just like you to put bread and butter on their children's table by throwing wood across the road and burning tires? Come on, man. No. No. You guys want to stop business? Stop the oil business until you get what belongs to you. Mind you, I'm not preaching violence, man. Don't take me out of context. I am saying let's get out into the streets and do it peacefully. Let our actions and our words emanate around the world so that the people out there can see the injustice the Guyanese people face with their own wealth, their own resources. If you all stand up and demand from the politicians your rightful share from ExxonMobil and all them foreign companies, uncle, what thieving out we wealth, nobody has to run down the streets doing those things. You would have been running to the bank instead of running on the streets protesting. You would have been running on the bank to collect real money, what rightfully belongs to you. Miss Harris, when I look at some of these videos and hear some of these things that went on yesterday, it makes me want to run away in the jungle and live by myself with the animals. Let them keep, and tell them, to keep everything. Yeah, man. I just feel like run away, man. And be with the animals. Let them keep me company then.
Live in the bush.
Yeah.
Away from these humans.
Than to live with hooligans and corrupt politicians. It makes me sick. It makes me sad, very sad. Gregory, when y'all miss me, when y'all don't hear me on the program, better believe that I'm gone. I'm going in the bush. Man, and I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave you guys. I can't handle this thing anymore. I need to go away. Because you're having protests every day. Nobody turning up. Everybody want money. But nobody turning up to fight.
They prefer to go to the market and steal
Yes.
onion and garlic and toilet paper.
Ms. Harris, I would like us to be very frank, and have an honest discussion on this issue. This issue has been dividing us for decades. I want to entertain some phone calls, but can we be civil, please?
Yes.
I know this topic is a very sensitive one. Lots of people don't want to talk about it. I am one who is completely opposite to that. Unless we are frank with each other, this country will remain stagnated. And as we continue to fight among ourselves, we are going to sink our country further and beyond Africa and Asia. All right? So I want to have a frank discussion. A very frank discussion with this issue. It's too much, man. It's too much what is going on. And this thing has been going on for far too long. Can we open the lines? President Ali, hold 1 second. President Ali, I am told this afternoon, pay out some money to the vendors at the Monrepo market who lost. He had promised to pay them, And, it when I saw that story just now downstairs, I'm like, oh no. How that can help? How that can take away the pain? You understand? It is sad, man. It's very sad. Somebody is calling. Let's take this call. Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Glenn.
You're live.
Just a quick note. I won't take up too much time. One of the things that these international corporations do is they grease the wheels before they come in. And a lot of these protests and these people who are not supporting the call to review the contract, you will find out sometime in the future that their pockets have been greased by the international oil company. If you look around, there are prominent political people in this country who went through struggle for democracy, were shying away from the renewal of the contract, and instead they're focused on dividing this nation. I'll leave you with one thing, a quote from Mandela, who said, "Those who expect to benefit from the status quo are going to do and say anything to defend it." Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very, very sweet. Thank you. Yes, the gentleman is right. Right? When these foreign companies come to your country, I've said it many times, they grease the politicians' pocket, so they can do whatever they want.
Yes, yes.
And this, well, when they do whatever they want, when they rob the country, it creates this type of situation.
Yep, exactly.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Glenn.
Good evening.
One thing, if you've been preaching for quite a while, and the message is being clearly heard all over, what we see in the screen and what been happening yesterday, these people looting and the robbing and all what was taking place. If we Guyanese been getting our rightful share from our wealth, do you believe those and go to rob their mati and take the papers and these petty things if we didn't get in our rightful share? Hungry. This is something that these people we condemn it, it's wrong. But the root of the problem, my brother, if we get our rightful share, there is no way a mother will come out with the teenage children to fetch those body and potato and toilet paper on those bikes. No way. And when you got a president going to say, if you believe your wealth will come from oil, you got to be kidding. Man, we were at a terrible place. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
My gosh. My gosh. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, Miss Harris, you know, tonight, I wanted to talk so much, explain to this nation about this chain, this iron chain that chain us to a concrete post, you know, about this ring fencing provision. But instead, look what we have to base our energies on. Exactly. Talking about protests and beating and robbing. You know, this thing is so sickening. This is why third world countries with third world leaders with these clowns, we can't get anywhere. Good evening, sir. You're live.
Yes, good night, Mr. Lall on the panel.
Speak up.
All I want to say is that my heart goes out to the people on the East Coast, what happened to them, our brothers and sisters. I think that things could be better than that. If what you keep talking, that people come out and stand up for their rights, for each and every one of us in this country could get a living, things like that could have occurred and stopped in this country, and we could live better lives. What I see on Facebook today and all too, concerning the 250,000 payout to residents of Region 3, that is not right. Our families are calling me from outside and finding out it's not everybody get that money, you know. But the family them, as I'm speaking tonight on the air, I hope they are listening. It's not everybody in Region 3 received $250,000. Right? They got people starving and people need money. I hope these parties are listening and hear what's going on. Please, please, everybody need living in this country.
Thank
God,
you.
Please, give people living in this country.
Thank you.
I am appealing to these people. Thank you, Mr. Lall, for letting me express myself.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
You too. Ms. Harris, I don't know if the police arrested anybody so far.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. We have been protesting every day. And if any one of the people protesting with me out there has committed a very simple offense, they would have been before the court.
Already, yes.
You understand?
I'm aware.
This is what this is when you have corrupt, incompetent, third world clungs for leaders.
Yes.
Yeah. They go after people who would want to better as a country rather than the ones who are breaking up the country, who are dividing our brothers and sisters. Yes, sir. You want to say anything, Ms. Harris? Take the floor.
Josh? No, I agree. You see, this is the game that the politicians play, and people should be wiser at this point. They use these race and gender and color, those things to divide people. It's such an old game, and Guyanese people keep falling for it every single time. They fail to see that the more divided the people are, the more power the politicians get to exercise over these people. This whole thing, they're distributing money to these sets of people, not these sets of people. You have to realize at some point that the people are being used as political pawns. The people have to realize that. Otherwise, we keep falling for the same tactics. We end up in situations like this. One set of people fighting another set of people who should both be fighting the government. Because the government owes them everything. Not fighting each other. It doesn't make any sense.
You know, I'll be waiting, I'll be watching, and I'll be looking if they will set up a COI to end this madness.
You know what?
But I want to suspect they will not go down that road.
No.
They don't want to go down this route.
That would
You know
be
why?
something to...
You know why? They love when these things happen.
Exactly.
So they go in the bottom houses and say, y'all see them?
Yes.
Y'all see them?
Yes.
They don't like how we. There's always do this and this is where the hate race keep kicking in.
They
Exactly.
divide us so they can steal from us.
Exactly.
Exactly. And then look at the...
It's to keep their base. It's to keep their voters.
Yes, look at
Y'all voting for them. Y'all going to vote for them. They'll continue to do y'all that. And this is what they keep going on with.
Poor man paying a hefty price.
They're happy to play that role, I'm convinced. Otherwise, you would demand more from your leaders.
226.
The people keep doing the same thing over and over again.
226-7453-4, 622-2222 or 624-6456. That for WhatsApp calls.
Where is the comments? What happened? Like nobody ain't sending in the comments?
A lot of people are agreeing with what you're saying. They're saying, Susie says, it's a delicate position, not an easy one. No politicians ain't want to deal with it. A lot of Stabroek markets, suppose somebody break up those stalls with the whole town would be in ashes. She's right. The politicians don't want to deal with it because if they dealt with it, then the people wouldn't be so divided. They wouldn't have hatred and prejudice against each other. And they would unite to get rid of them and to at least demand more from the politicians if they were more united.
We have a caller here. Caller, good evening and welcome. Hello.
Good evening, General Program.
Yes, it is. You're live on the air. Go right ahead.
Mr. Lall, good night.
Good night.
Hello.
Yeah, good night. We can hear you.
Could you please lower the volume of your radio?
Yes, sir. Good night.
Good night. Go ahead with your contribution.
I just saying thank Mr. General. He's doing a great work. He's next to Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your call. Caller, good evening and welcome. Hello? 226-7454, 622-2222 or 624-6456. That's for WhatsApp calls this evening.
Josh?
Yes, sir.
Let me just say this, guys. When you call in, let's get going with our topic that we're dealing with.
Yes, please. I agree.
Praises and so on. Keep it.
Caller, good evening. Go right ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, Mr. Lall.
Go ahead. He's listening.
Mr. Lall, good night to you and your panel.
Good night. Good night.
Very good night to you and your panel. Now, we want to know if, like how the CCJ and all these other bodies around the world intervene in the election, right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, go ahead.
No, we want to know why the CCJ don't intervene in the oil business too. If they could come in there, come in your own post election. What happened to the oil? Then see,
That's a nice question. That's a good question. That's a nice question, my friend. You're asking the international bodies, they have not intervened as per se in our elections. What they did, they just come and sit and play the role of observer. And then they put out their release, their statement as to what they saw or witnessed. They weren't part of the election campaign. All right? And because they cannot intervene, international people cannot come and intervene in our election. So I just want to clear that you don't get mixed up. You understand? Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. You're live.
Hello, good night.
Good night. You're live.
Yeah, Mr. Good night. I would like to collaborate on one thing that happened yesterday with the looters deal, right? Where was the police when this thing happening? And we have a police force. The police is going to reach here, kill everything damaged, and the people gone. Now they have a protest. People coming down the road protesting, going passing village to village to village, going I don't know where. Police presence was to be there. All right. The people going to they start attacking the people at the market, destroying the thing, beat them up and whatever. The police need to act swiftly on those matters. What happened to this police force now?
Can you hold a moment? I don't want you, or I would not want to blame the police. I don't want nobody to blame the police. When you're dealing with protests of that magnitude, you know how much police we have? The police force is short of people. 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 police cannot control that madness. And you don't want to put them, no policeman or woman is going to go against a mob. No. You got to have the real force. And by the time they would have garnered that force, the mayhem would have already, the looting and so on would have already finished. Look, they blocked off the road last night on the East Coast. And eventually the army went out with the police and they got it clear. So it's not something police can act that you expect it to shut it down immediately. No. The people were coming down peacefully. And the crowd started to build up, but they were coming down peacefully. That's a peaceful protest. You understand?
Right.
It's when they start the burning and the looting, then, the police decided to act. But how quick do they respond? It's another thing.
Right.
You understand? You don't expect police, the whole police. You don't even have police, like I said. So not that I'm defending the police. I'm not defending the police. But I'm because of my understanding of how police behave and how they operate and what we have. These things, the issue, this is why I have said a COI is needed urgently on this matter. This is what prevents. We have to look at the alternative to prevent these type of behavior, right? Not to quickly solve them, is to prevent them. And like I said, mass protest is unavoidable. You just can't. You just look. You have protests in the United States going on, and you can't stop it. Law enforcement can't stop it.
So then we're going to stop it, Mr. Glenn.
Huh?
Then where is it to stop it?
I'm saying you have to nip something in its bud. And this has been an ongoing saga for this country. And they have not been stopping it. It can erupt next week again. Then what happened? 10 policemen can go stop it? No. The police force need policemen and women, you know. You have anyone in your family inside?
No.
That's my point. That's my point. You want police action, but then you're not sending your children or your family to join. You understand what I'm saying? And the police salary they're getting. You know, if I was getting such a salary, trust me, I'd lie down in my bed and don't even leave the police station. And these are the injustices the nation is facing. Hence, I'm saying get out into the streets so that we can have real money in our pocket from our own wealth. We are not robbing, we are not thieving from anybody. No. We want our own wealth. Have you came out any day to join our protest? That's my point. That's my point. You guys who just want to stay home, rock in your hammock or lie down in your bed or your rocking chair and believe that everything is smooth and food and drinks will come on your table. No, sir. No. It's a bigger picture. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You want to announce the numbers?
Yes, the numbers again in case you might have missed it. They are 226-745-324. And for WhatsApp calls, 622-2222 and 624-6456.
Yeah, just a brief point. Since we're, the president keeps saying...
Just one second. Hold a second. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Mr. Glenn Lall, you recall after the election when they had the riot in Bushlat up there, and Barra Jackdale said to the rioters or the rally, he said that butcher stand was painted green. The next day, that man's stand was burnt down, and it was an Indian man's stand. So when you talk about our leaders are part of the game, yes, they are playing the game.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny.
Hello?
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah.
Yes, Ms. Harris, go ahead.
It's true, they use people. No, I was saying the political parties, they talk about the president, all of them, they talk about development, right? But these people seem to think that development just is about building roads and bridges and infrastructure. You have to develop the people. The people are the true wealth of a nation. If you don't do anything to educate or empower the people, then what becomes of the nation? Bridges and roads and fancy buildings don't run a nation. The people do. And that's been the problem with Guyana. And they keep using race as the main issue with this country. I believe we should have a truth commission into the racial hostility that's been going on in this country since its inception. Just like a commission of inquiry, a truth commission would mean that everybody, generations gone and generations to come, would be able to understand the deeply rooted issues that surround race and racism in this country. And then from only that, having that awareness and dealing with those issues, then we can start to build a future. Then we can start to chart progress, because people would have understood where we have come from and why we can't get anywhere 50 something years after getting independence, because we have no unity. The people aren't united. They don't have a proper identity. There's still Indo-Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese, Indigenous Guyanese. There's no Guyanese. And that's the problem.
Mr. Glenn,
So just
Yes,
my
good evening,
suggestion.
sir.
good night to you on the panel.
Good night.
I know that you are a bit emotional, but let me get to the root of this thing. The government is sharing out money to one set of people. And the people feel a kind of way and they vent their anger on the poor people. I sorry for the people that suffer. But let us get down to the, as far as you said, for the COI to be held. The people are venting their anger on the poor people because the people are hungry. And
Hold
if
on.
next to you and you're hungry,
Hold
you
for
go
me.
over your yard for food.
Hold for me,
And
man.
is that what happened there? These hungry people
Can you-
with paper.
can you
People
hold-
get the money, the government share that money to their own people.
Can you hold for me a moment?
Yes, I hold it. Let me hear you.
I am saying you have to vent your anger to the leaders. You can't vent your anger on me. You cannot do that.
To the people, so the, when the
Sir,
people understand
sir.
the people share that money.
Sir,
Why you think the
sir, sir,
the president gonna share that money?
sir,
So you think the people don't know that?
sir,
Yes.
sir.
I know you're a bit emotional on this one.
Let's get slow. No, I'm not emotional. And listen, these are conversations I love to have.
Yes.
Let's do not
You
get.
can't be the judge and the jury.
No, listen to me.
It's your program.
Can
know
I?
you're a bit
Would you
emotional.
like me to come take out my anger on you and your family?
If I'm not hungry, I'm gonna see for you. I live next to you and you know you got things on to come.
Sir,
That will happen there, share that money one-sided.
Sir.
I don't go away from the point. I support the call and call.
sir, you're
I'm
missing the
telling you.
boat. You're missing the
The
boat.
share money region 3, the share money Boatis, the share $250,000 and the leaving out gas on some people.
Sir,
Everybody knows that.
sir,
You are enough to move.
sir, you're missing the boat. Stay on the line. You're missing the boat. I am asking you a simple question. Whether the government give you money or the government give me money is neither here nor there. If I am frustrated, can I come and beat you up and take away you thing? I'm not hearing you. No, he's online. I'm not hearing you, man. He cut off. Now he cut off.
That is the root. That is the
I am
root.
asking you. I just ask you.
But you cannot decide to go get the man is hungry.
My friend,
Hungry man will let it hold on so long and know that put it now go steal.
like you didn't hear my
Why do people
question.
steal?
Like you didn't hear my question.
Why do you think people go and steal and rob?
You didn't hear my question, man. You didn't hear my
You
question.
share that money one side and not give the people that money.
Man, I cut you off because like you fail to understand what I'm saying. Whether the government give Johnson or Lall money, if I am Lall, do you have the right to come and beat me? No, you don't. You have to go and fight with the leaders who give whoever Johnson or Lall money. That's my point. Let's stick to that. That's where we have to stick. I don't want to hear with government give region 3 and region. No. No. Whether who they give, you have no right to go rob and beat people. The people at Lusignan or Monrepo get any money? No. But they were beaten and robbed. Why? Come on. Come on, get real with yourself.
Caller, good evening and welcome.
Hello.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. Ross.
And you can call me back too. Yeah.
Good night, Mr. Ross.
Good night.
What I feel could bring this country together, right? We as citizens, we got to see the two leaders hugging each other, is one. And two, whenever a government lose and become the opposition, they have to support the government that is in power. That is the only way we could get togetherness in this country. We got to see the two leaders hugging each other, and when the government lose and get in the opposition, and we're supporting the government of the day. And then you can get a difference to the people in the country. Because they can see the leaders united, and if they see the leaders united, it means that we can follow the leaders. This is the only way people a oneness will come in this country. There can be a division if the leaders keep dividing themselves from one another. Because if you get a parent and you're supposed to guide you, And you see parents going down and you can follow them and go down because this is there. So if the leaders them come together, it means that we, the people in the country, can take a effort from them, and we're going to go the right way, we're going to unite, we're going to live together.
I hear you, but can you hold on the line?
Yeah.
Can you hold on the line? I am saying again for tonight, the leaders of this country, they are the ones who are preaching this hate, race, and this divisiveness in this land. What took place there yesterday, okay? The leaders of this land should have gone there, having seen what took place, and said no. No to this. Because it's their supporters, whichever one of them, and said no. We, as the political heads and leaders of this land, do not condone, will not condone such a behavior from you guys. But guess what? None of them doing it. You know what they're doing? And it goes on both sides. Whenever you have these ruckus going on, they don't go and do that. They don't. You know why? That's their base. And they want it that way. Divide and keep you there. You're my people. Divide, keep me on the other side. That's my. That's my.
Okay, right? I don't know if it is right for I say it or if you would agree with me what I say. But
no, go ahead. Say what you have to say, man.
Right? I don't know if you would agree with me or right what I say. But for me, opinion, I would tell you this. I would tell you this what I know. Right? That black people are not racial. Black people are not racial people. I would tell you this. They are not racial. Black people is people who just disgusting, like to threaten and do things, but they are not racial. In a black man's heart, he has no racialness in it. I can tell you. A black man is people who love. They would love the same people who hate them. The same people who hate them, they would love. They would love. This is why I tell them black people are not racial. And that is a fact. I will tell you this.
All right, hold right there.
The
hold right there. Hold right there. Hold right there. For 28 years, I've been sitting at the helm of this Kaieteur News. And my editorial department is 90% Africans. At one time, the PPP used to cuss me down and say you got all them Africans only cussing down the PPP. When the coalition go in government and we start exposing the coalition government, the coalition tell me you have one set of Africans cussing down the African government. I have not seen race play a role. Wait. I have not seen race play a role in this company that I manage for 28 years. So you can't tell me about Africans. I've been living with them all my life. I born and grew with them. And I agree with you. I fully agree with you.
In the heart, they would not hate you. But what they would do, they would be influenced by people to do things. But in the personal heart, they are not racial. But you could influence them. You could influence them with $2 or something to get them to do things that they're supposed to do. But
I agree.
In the heart, they are not racial people.
I agree with you, man. I agree. Fully agree with you.
Thank you.
I fully agree with you. But it's the leaders who dividing us, brother. I'm happy that you understand. And this is this discussion we should have. We shouldn't hide it and play a game with it. We should be open with it. We have racists. We have them. And you just pick them out very quickly. From the time they open their mouth, you could smell them. You don't have to hear them. You smell them.
Yeah, we have one.
Yes,
Welcome.
you were saying about the comments, Miss Harris. Go ahead.
We have somebody on the line.
Go ahead.
Hi, welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Miss Harris.
Yep.
You got it right. These comics that govern in this country, as one time Jack you said, development is car bumper to bumper. They got nothing in place for human development. Where they're dealing with the bill of bridge today, it breaks 6 months from now. The bill of road tomorrow, it start breaking up. Prior to that, I see that a big joke thing. The sheriff said it how the sheriff issued a statement saying that if if people, if the permanent secretary is somebody else, don't attend the public committee, that will face consequence are being arrested. Let me tell you something. They're so corrupt that they know all the people with a hand pushing in the cookie jar, but you know what? They just leave them to partake in it because they're running this country like if this country belongs to them.
Correct.
And this is joke. They need to understand you can't take out your anger from me. Let me be realistic. It's a black boy, she might don't go molest his family. What are you going to tell people about? But the issue is not though. The real issue, these people, the politicians are the people that are fighting for instead of the rights. Carry said the I don't know your name. But I come back and make myself known again. But this whole bottom line is they're dealing with divide and rule. And the set of people running this country like how you running a business and people running the business down registry. They have nothing instructed for human development. And until the people look at listen, I want to make a last point.
Go ahead.
The more nice you make is the more the comic them keep giving the people them a house and a used vehicle. So when they clinch to it now, and they're in the corrupt stupidness with a little couple thousand in the pocket, the top pocket or the back pocket, the more they clinch to that. Here with the leaders are already, make nice, no? Let's send the police or send GRA to your house. Make nice. So they can't make nice and come out. So even let me look at see what they're going to do with the permanent secretary, with the claiming that, oh, look, if you don't turn up, you're going to say we can get consequence or you're going to be arrested. I want this nation pay attention to it. I know it's a joke. The politicians them know who doing stupidness. They're encouraging the business people to beat GRA. Anytime they make nice, GRA come visit the house. And the ones them that is the permanent secretary we got a hard deep in the stupidness with the contractors, with the huge overrun contract, and kick back in the pocket and hold it back, you can't get your pain, etc. Let us pay attention to it. But the whole thing come back is bare foolishness, and I agree with Harris. They got nothing in place for human development. The only structure of that is the own petty interest, them same stupid little road and a little bridge here, how much in the interior and all kind of stupidness. But the people them, as you rightfully said, who they're quiet let them know, with the consequence where they ain't gonna pay when they're dead and gone, the generation will live in misery. Just what's going on in Africa. Good night.
You talk better than Glenn Lall, man. The man understand what is going on. Develop human development. As you guys talk about the human development.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's what it is.
Oh,
there's
no,
nothing. There's nothing for the people.
Everything. You know, we're carrying a story tomorrow, in which the guy Suku is going to buy some tractors. They don't buy 6 tractors for $200 and something million.
My goodness.
Tractors that cannot do the work.
Yes.
Imagine sugar is a dead thing. Okay? Sugar industry has been losing money from day one. But this government gone in and resuscitated. Throw back the cane cutters, them cut cane, and every ounce of cane they cut, they lose money.
If these people...
The money they're spending there to do the cane operation, they can take half of that money and pay the sugar workers to stay home.
Correct.
Yep.
To stay home.
And to
But they
import
want
sugar.
to pump it there because Gaisuku is one of the milking cows.
Yep. A nice big fat
The
juicy one.
PPP has been using, Jack Day has been using that from day one as a milking cow. Where they wring money. Like 6 tractors, you paid $200 million for, man.
What?
And when we are told, we are carrying the story tomorrow, that they are going to buy 4 more of the same tractors. Tractor with no name, no durability whatsoever. Tractor that cannot do the work.
Yes.
Guys who want tractor to till the land. They will buy tractor, haul the cane. You understand? So listen, man. This is not madness. This is not insanity. Boy.
Exactly.
You don't know what's happening in this country.
They went.
John Deere and Perkins, right? Is two brand name of this world, and they have tractor, the best. And you can buy 10 tractor, and trust me, and you wouldn't even pay half the money
Exactly.
that cabinet is going to buy
Yes.
four more tractor for. This is what is going on. So that when the gentleman talk about human development, he got to understand human development, and no development can come if you don't have money. And this is how they're keeping out all the money. This is how all the
Related
money.
projects.
I think the CEO said that he cannot buy the tractors without cabinet approval. So you see who's really spending the money? Not the CEO.
Politicians.
The politicians, yes, cabinet. And who sits at the helm? President Ali. He is authorizing 4 tractor to be purchased. More for some prices unthinkable.
They probably just went
you
on.
You have an opposition that is just sitting there idly by and doing nothing.
Yep.
Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
nobody's
Nothing
holding
at all.
anybody
Nothing.
to account.
Nothing.
Where's the phone calls, man? People afraid to call or what?
Calling good evening and welcome.
Hi, good evening, welcome.
Good night, everybody. So I'd like to say to Mr. Lall, he's not going to the government because the setup there was a real setup. For real, this is segregate people them for real. You understand? And if you come here, go, you understand, and it's sort of segregate reality. You know?
I'm not hearing you.
I'm trying to skinning them up on it, you understand, and let the nation know is what's going on, is that now we got no war between each other. You understand? As black, wherever we is, you understand, Indian, whoever we is. We don't have no war between we are. It's them who got the war between themselves. You understand? And the putting we in front of the war and in front of the guns. That's what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd rather send them up and say, good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Caller, good evening. Welcome to the Glenn Lall Show.
Yeah, good evening, Lall Show. This country has no court that is looking to politicians who scams and thieves.
We have to hold them accountable. We have to expose them. We have to expose their families. All right? We are the court. We are the police. We are everything.
We're not using that power.
And you're not using that. You're not using your mouth to speak up. Look how much I am speaking. All you have to do is repeat what Glenn Lall said. They can't do nothing.
And just come and build the numbers up.
Right? Exactly. And build the numbers up.
Build the numbers, sound your voice louder, and they will hear. They will get it right. If you don't come, nothing will happen. Business as usual. For example, mobile and our corrupt politicians.
Oh boy. What happened to the comments? Why aren't we having
Glenn,
comments?
some skullduggery is going on with these politicians in this country, especially in the oil industry. The opposition is not saying anything about the issue in the contracts. Only you are highlighting the evils that is going on. Ian says that. Ian is watching and Ian is paying attention. Somebody, Keisha says, you create this corruption and you don't want peace. I don't know who she's referring to. I don't know. I think you're getting blamed for the corruption.
Yeah, I like the music, man. Let me hear the music. Let me hear the music. What Priya said?
Priya? Nah, not Priya.
Who?
It was
You have to read the
Keisha,
comments.
yes. Pack of lunatics. You create this corruption and you don't want peace. I don't know who she was referring to though.
Maybe I see something.
If it's you, exactly. You stirred up that trouble yesterday, sir. Is that what you were doing?
Oh boy.
My goodness. You've been
Yes.
awfully busy.
Yes, girl.
Why you didn't send them to the shore base? If it was you should have sent them to the shore base. We could have dealt with them there nicely. No, but people were supportive of what you were saying. Guyanese citizens have no right whatsoever to fight against each other. Regardless, the government and our leaders are the culprits in this kind of doing. Not our brothers and sisters, regardless if Indian or African, but each and every one of us citizens must be fair and rebuke all evils at all times. Amen. Kirk Roberts says that. Paul?
Miss Harris, I find something very strange yesterday. You know, critic is one man who's at all crime scene and
He wasn't there.
and ruckus. And no, when I look for him for see the live what was going on, I didn't see the man there. It's still later. He went to the police.
He knows. The East Coast would have probably snatched him up too.
I was only left to think, wait, like he frightened the East Coast.
Exactly. Because not me. I didn't even want to observe that.
Critic, you should have go there, man. The whole place was looking out for you yesterday. Oh. Look what your life turned to, brother. Oh.
Anyway.
You gotta walk around now with President Ali. Oh,
And
no.
10 baby police.
I want to say to the Guyanese people that the hardship that we're facing, it's all because of we the people. We sit back and we encourage our leaders. We know that they're doing wrong. We see that they're doing the wrong. And we who have to hold them accountable are not saying anything. Like yesterday, for example, we vent our frustrations at each other. That doesn't make it any better. It makes them look even better. And it makes us look more bad because they have the foreign companies are carting off billions upon billions of dollars every day that belongs to us. If you don't raise your voice now, they're going to keep carrying it or we're going to keep getting poorer. When they're gone with all, we're going to live like savages and beasts. It's going to get real chaotic for us. So you have a choice, my people. The choice is all ours. We have to make that stand, and it has to be now. Now and only now. You cannot wait. We're not going out there to loot and shoot and kick down. Just must as a body, must as a Guyanese. We are a nation of 6 races. Come together and tell our politicians enough is enough. We need our fair share to live a happy and comfortable life. That's all about it.
Yep.
With that, Ms. Harris, namaste. God bless you guys. Until next time.
Namaste.